Want to understand the DGET function and compare it to XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, and index and match to see who is better? So stay with me until the end of this video. The objective of the video is to compare how DGET function behaves comparing to other functions that search results in a table. So our first example is DGET against VLOOKUP. So in VLOOKUP, we're gonna go and search it using a lookup value, that is the country, the table array, that is our entire table, our index column, which we want to return sales, so is column 3, and the range lookup, I want exact match, that is false. Return 11,061. For the DGET function, we call DGET, we choose the database, that is our entire table, the field that we want to return, that is sales, and the criteria. We choose country, the header country, and the country per se, that is Austria, and hit enter. There it is. Now let's go and compare to INDEXMATCH and XLOOKUP. In INDEXMATCH, we want to return the value of sales for Italy in the month March. The same thing here with DGET. So first of all, we call it index. The array will be the entire table. Now, for the row number, we need to match what value our country with the lookup array, that is the rows of country, there when we have the country information. Match, I want exactly, close parentheses. Now the column, it will be another match with the lookup value, that is March, and the lookup array, that is the row, the column names that contains the months, and 0. Close parentheses, enter. 8,550. For the DGET function, DGET, the database, it will be our entire table. The field will be March, and the criteria, country, Italy. Here it is. Notice the difference between this level of structure against this level of structure. Both will work. If I change here to April, it will work also here. But the measure, the function is way more complicated. So a good approach will be to use DGET. Now to XLOOKUP. We're gonna XLOOKUP. We want to look up what value? The country name, the lookup array. Here it is, country. The return array, that is March. And the found exact match, and hit enter. Now for the DGET, we want the database. The field will be country. The field will be March. And the criteria will be country, Italy. The main difference here now is when we want to change from drag this formula for the other month, May. Here in Italy, we don't need to do anything. We just need to drag it. Here it is. And for this, for example, I need to increase the first column here, the first argument here, that is K4, that is the country. And I need to change the third argument here, that is, instead of returning the column March, I want the column April. Sorry, May. Now it is. As you can see, it's much simpler to drag the DGET function instead of the XLOOKUP function. Of course, both work, both are correct, but you can have the option to choose whenever use one or the other. That's the main goal of this video. For our third example is to use wildcard arguments. For example, if you want to find the sales for Jorge, here we have George Sullivan, but here we just have George. How can we do it in XLOOKUP? XLOOKUP. We want to look up this value and we want to add a asterisk. And then do the rest. Lookup array here and the return array, that is this one, and the match mode must be wildcard character match, the number 2, and hit enter. Here it is. Now for the DGET, we don't need to do anything different, just the database, the field, and the criteria. You will automatically search for a wildcard and guess that we only have one George here, so this is the value that we want. Pretty cool, right? But every formula has its limitations. So what's the limitations of DGET? Returning to this page, if we change the name of this table here, of this argument here, for example, for countries, it won't work. Here, nothing happened. It's still working, right? A good approach will be, instead of typing the name of the column that we want, is to use the equal to country. Now, if I change here, it automatically change here and it will still work. Okay. Other thing, the DGET don't work if the values are in other format than this one here. If it's in the vertical, it won't work. Let's try it. Get here. The field will be March and the criteria will be country Italy. As you can see, it won't work. Index match, it will work just fine. Let me see, there are other limitations that I want to show you. Oh yeah, here. For example, if we have a second name here, let me use my name, Renan. And if we drag here and use it, instead of the name, just George, use George and Renan, he will search for one value, okay? Because Renan doesn't exist here in this table. But if I use another name that is present in the table, like Susan, it will return an error because the DGET only returns the value of one argument, okay? It won't work bringing the value of two different criteria together, okay? So That's it for the DGET function. Remember, it's a function that only works in Office 365. If you don't have this version, you have older ones, it won't be available. And I hope that video was useful, and I see you guys on the next one. So, what do you guys think of today's video? Let me know all in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any new content. And I see you guys on our next video.